Quick throw here, and into a lot of traffic and incomplete. Ballistic.
I mean, for what's at stake, is this the craziest two-point conversion
Ever
ever
to tie a game of this magnitude.
Number 1 seed in the conference.
Seattle could flip the entire playoff scenario.
So much at stake at Lumen Field in Seattle tonight. From the 39-yard line, and indeed they go for it, and indeed they do get second, fourth down of this drive, and this time Williams is able to lunge forward, taken by Walker. Lots of room to roll inside the 30, gets a couple of blocks. He'll get inside the 10, he'll set up a first down. Crowd roaring, pressure put on, pass is thrown, and it's contested and caught. And that is nothing new. And he remains perfect. Going deep downfield, caught. There's Nakua. Nakua into Seattle territory. Look at him go to the 30. The owner, he loves his Missouri guys. He was thrilled when they signed this guy. And that kick is Stafford. Throw and caught into the end zone. Goes Terrence Ferguson. Four-man rush. Pass caught. And it's fumbled. And it's going to wind up at the 1-yard line. Cooper Walker. Kenneth Walker inside the 40. Kenneth Walker is out in front. Kenneth Walker, touchdown Seahawks. Stafford, deep downfield as a man open, makes the catch. Xavier place kicker. Evans gets it down. Nevis bangs it badly. The 3rd and 8 is picked off. Intercepted by, speaking of Josh Wallace, there is Josh Wallace. And he will take it. Corum is the back. He has it. And he gets spun down, and he is coming. Stafford hangs in, throws wide open. There's Nakua. Nakua breaking a tackle, being chased, and they will get the lead. And that is going to be hauled in by who else? Puka Nakua. Darnold under pressure, and that's intercepted at the 1-yard line. That is Kobe Turner. Behind the championship game, meanwhile, that punt is caught, and down the line goes Rashid Shaheed. Darnold throws, and it will be in there for the 2 points. Cup rolling left, throwing back the other way. He's got a man caught. Barner, touchdown. Rams the lead, and he has been no good. Stafford, deep, reaching up. Nakua, play fake. Stafford fires. Nakua again. Nakua will take it to the end zone. Puka Nakua. Darnold, play fake, looks, throws, caught! Smith and Jigba in motion. Darnold throws, caught for the 2 points. Eric Saubert.
And with that, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the NFL. Please like and subscribe. I hope you guys saw this game, as it was arguably the most wild Thursday night game we've seen in a very, very long time, as it was the first ever Thursday night game between two teams with 11 or more wins coming into it, as the Seahawks get the revenge on the Rams from, again, resurrecting that Week 11 loss, knocking them off 38-37 in one of the... I can't even explain this game, guys. It was... I mean, I'm deflated after this, guys, not going to lie. No sleep after this as well. I mean, again, I don't know what you guys expected with that. It was 30-14 with like 5 minutes to go. The Rams had only lost one game when they were up by 15 or more points in the fourth quarter. It was like way back in 1989. It was like Joe Montana, so like who really cares? Seahawks never won a game in that scenario, and I'm be honest, guys. I'm gonna continue to say this for the rest of the time. But if you are up by, what are we gonna say? If you're up by 8 points and you score a touchdown, no. If you're up by 9 points, my bad. If you're up by 9 points at any point, so 2-score game basically. But whenever you're up by 9 points in a game, like the Rams were up 23-14 in this game, if you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2. I understand. You think about the math with this. Again, that would be a 17-point lead, but if they don't get it, it's a 15-point lead, which means they only need an extra point and then a 2-point conversion. But guys, as you guys saw with the 2-point conversion to start this, that obviously again is easier said than done, even though they went 3 for 3 on 2-pointers in this game. But just the fact that again, it's similar. I think again there were 2 plays and decisions in this game that I think made it up. It was the fact they went up by 15 points, and instead of going for keeping it a 2-score game with the extra point, that's what they did instead of going for 2. That is what I think decided this game at the end of the day. Other than the Rams defense playing like absolute so bad on the road, guys. Like there's no way around it. They gave 38 freaking points. Like there's no excuse for that. On top of that, though, I think the other thing was they scored obviously the touchdown to go ahead in overtime, and then they didn't go for 2. So the thing with me with this is I understand if you fail that 2-point attempt, the Seahawks are basically you're giving the game away to the Seahawks if they get in the end zone again, which they obviously did. So I'll be fair with that, but at the same time, if you're the Rams, you're saying we get a 2-point conversion here. Whatever happens, this game is going to either end in a tie or worse. That's what I'm saying, like the play to win aspect, because obviously the Rams were playing to tie if they went for 2 in that scenario, but the Rams had the tiebreaker over the Seahawks no matter what happened in this game. So the fact that I just think that would have been my mindset in this situation. But again, if they lost that, or they didn't get that 2-point conversion there at the end of the game, they would have basically seeded this game over the Seahawks. And you're like, well, why would you make that decision? You're playing to win in that scenario because, like I said, the Rams have the tiebreaker. So forget ties. They're playing for the win. So if this game ended in a tie, they would still have the number 1 seed. So keeping that in mind, it's just those 2 decisions. Again, I'm more mad about the fact they were up by 15 and didn't try to go for the 3-score lead. Because you saw what happened, guys. Again, crap happens. That punt return touchdown completely flipped this game on its head. Like, you got to be able to account for things like that. So you're saying we have more room for error, a little bit more breathing room if we're up by 3 scores. Because this game, they would not have won this game if it was a 3-score game. Tell you guys that. The Rams did not play to win in this game, and that's what cost them. They are by far the better and way more talented team than the Seahawks. Full faith. And if these 2 teams meet up again in the playoffs, that the Rams are going to absolutely thrash them, whether it's in Seattle or in LA. This is going to be a beatdown by the Rams the next time they play. But the decisions by Sean McVay on those 2 2-point attempts, more the first one, is what cost them this game. That is my simple, rational opinion on this. The game itself we'll get into, obviously, but obviously with this being the most significant game of the NFL season up to this point, I had to get that across. But nonetheless, congrats to the Seahawks. They wanted this game more. You guys saw they scored, 26 points over the final, freaking 10 minutes of this game if we're counting overtime. That's just absolutely ridiculous. They deserved it in that sense. This game, they did not deserve to win. They played like absolute crap on offense. Sam Darnold was crapping his pants this entire game. But again, the fact that this Rams defense couldn't close this game out, and offensively you got 3 or 4 straight 3-and-outs. It's kind of hard things to happen. Again, you had a missed kick by the Rams too. This was very similar, and again, these crucial mistakes to what we saw the Rams have against the Niners back in Week 5 when they also lost an OT on Thursday Night Football. Except in that game they were losing. They were insanely flat in the first half. They came out flat in this game, but it wasn't as bad. So I'm stop ranting about the Rams here. For the Seahawks, though, they moved to 12-3, and at the moment they are the number 1 seed in the NFC, guys. I would be absolutely stunned if they're in this position by the end of the season, but they are right now. Their last 2 games are in Carolina, a place that no one really wants to play, and then they play again in San Fran to end the season. And I'm telling you guys right now, if you're a Niners fan, you got to be feeling really freaking good about your shot again the 1 seed, because if you guys win out, it's all your spot. I will say though, Colts this week, Bears next week. Those are 2 very losable games for them. And again, in all likelihood, that Week 18 game is going to mean a hell of a lot. But I will say, as a Rams fan, again, biggest takeaway after them is we're in an okay spot. Here's why. Your last 2 games against the Falcons, Cardinals, those are inexcusable. Win those freaking games, obviously. But on top of that, for the Rams to get back and win this division, not only that though, but get the number 1 seed, they're going to need, again, I'll be giving you guys my predictions somewhat later today for the Packers and Bears. But if the Packers win that game, the Bears are still going to be a game behind the Rams, which means, again, in that sense, they'll be okay. But for this division, they absolutely need the Seahawks and Niners to lose at least 1 game the rest of the season. Specifically for the Niners, they really want the Bears to knock them off next week. That's the biggest thing there. For Seattle, next week in Carolina would be great, but at the same time, the Rams are still a game above the Niners going into Week 18, they're going to need the Niners to knock out the Seahawks or the Rams. Because it's very simple. The Rams are the tiebreaker over the Seahawks. They end the season with the same record. The Rams are going to be above them. But again, that's the challenge here. The Rams losing this game, again, lost the game in the standings here. But again, the Niners have the tiebreaker on the Rams. So even if the Rams are the freaking 6th seed, which is pretty likely at this point, if they lose this, again, with the Niners probably being able to beat the Colts on Monday night, there's a shot that you can go up to the number 1 seed, even by the end of Week 17, if you really think about it. But that's what I'll say in the Rams. Again, it's not easy to get the number 1 seed for the Rams, but it's definitely a lot better than some other teams and their chances in the playoffs and stuff. So that's what I'll say on them. I'm not really panicked about this because they are the better team for sure. But again, it's just losing a game like this is just so crucial, and a lot of crap needs to happen, to be honest with you guys. On top of that, though, for Seattle, number 1 seed for now. They're heading to Carolina and Charlotte next week before they head to Sanford in the season. 2 really tough games to end their season. But for the Seahawks and Sam Darnold, he stepped up definitely on that last drive. I mean, there's no way around it. He freaking walked the Rams down. But honestly, outside of that, he really made a lot of mistakes in this game. He misread a lot of throws. Jason, if not mistaken, should have had like at least 100 more receiving yards. He had a big-time day in terms of his performance. But at the same time, I mean, Sam Darnold, again, last drive, he did what he was supposed to do. But realistically, again, you still can't really trust this guy because, again, when you play the Rams again, I'd be absolutely shocked if he's able to get away with even the same amount of things. Because he's had 6 total turnovers against the Rams in their 2 meetings. That's going to come back to bite you at some point. That's all I'll say, though. But for Seattle, they haven't lost a home game since Week 5. It's really shown recently. Kenneth Walker broke up a 55-yard run. The Rams had not given up a 30-yard run this entire season. The fact that happened was pretty crazy. Charbonnet scored early. Again, like I said, JSN on Emmanuel Forbes. Again, I will say Emmanuel Forbes, I think, had a hell of a game. Obviously, the pass interference there wasn't great on that last drive. But again, he still locked up JSN decently, held them in check. This is a game that I'll take any day. Obviously, basically the game-clinching touchdown there. But, I mean, with how he played, I'm not really too concerned about that. Kenneth Walker broke up a 46-yard screen pass early as well. A.J. Barner, that touchdown. Cam Kitchens, the Rams safety there. He just completely misread that play. You have to be able to be neutral there. If you're playing outside leverage, you got to play it, especially considering you want to help there. With Sam Darnold there off that play action play, it was one of the easiest throws you'll ever see. Again, it was just, again, if you're Cam Kitchens, you got to know what's going on. Obviously, he didn't have as much help on the inside, but again, if A.J. Barner's running that route, if he stems it inside, you're going to be able to get to that one. But again, if it's outside, he completely flips you on his hips, beats you, burns you there. That's what's going to happen there. Again, you're going to give it the touchdown. Cooper Kupp, though, he had an amazing 21-yard catch there to set them up for that, again, in the goal line there. That was just, again, a savvy Cooper Kupp play there. He obviously didn't have his greatest game with the fumble, but he certainly made it up for it with that catch. And this offensive line, despite getting absolutely butchered this entire game, was solid enough as a run-blocking unit. And again, as you saw in that last play, they held up. That's really the reason the Seahawks got that 2-point conversion. The secondary, as bad as they played overall in this game, Emmanuel Forbes, again, really the only true exception, but even that's kind of a stretch there. That last drive, that last play on the 2-point conversion, they held up for at least 3.5 seconds. Honestly, as a secondary, I think that's your goal to be able to do that. But the fact that no one on that defensive line could get to Sam Darnold is really the reason they lost that. And again, on that play there. For the secondary, Nick Amanu got injured. He was all over the place. Devon Witherspoon, again, him and Puka were just going at it this entire game. Ernest Jones, Julian Love, all these guys, they all made a lot of big plays. Again, they didn't get a single sack on Stafford. They definitely got some good hits on him, though. I'll say that again. There were definitely some consistent pressure. Josh O was in the starting corner in football. We saw that in this game. But again, overall, for a pretty banged up secondary, they had some guys that made big-time plays. Obviously, DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard Williams out there was huge. And also, they flipped the run pretty well the entire game, even though there were some points where they were a little bit shaky. Seattle, though, hell of a win for you guys. Hell of a comeback. First time you guys have ever come back at this magnitude. But guys, at the end of the day, the Rams choked this game. That's really the reason. That's really, again, the reason here. Stafford, he's going to win MVP, guys. I mean, 457 yards and 3 touchdowns is just, again, insane. No one ever does this. The fact he is insane against the Seahawks defense. But again, he did enough to win this game. I understand those 3 drives. Again, that was completely crap there. Again, towards the end of that game. But again, when Stafford throws for 460 yards, 3 touchdowns, again, you guys throw 37 points. There's really no reason you guys lose this game. For the Rams, though, they fall to 11-4. It's their second road loss in their last 3 road games, but it's not good. They're going to be playing at Atlanta next week before they end the season at home against the Cardinals. Really, all they're looking at, though, is that those Seattle, San Francisco, and Chicago down the stretch here to see what happens there. But again, if you're a Rams fan, it's very simple. You need those things to go your way. Again, it's still pretty realistic for them to get the 1 seed, though, considering, again, there's just a couple things that need to happen. And also, again, if the Niners lose, it's very simple. The Rams have the division, again, if the Niners can take care of business against Seattle in Week 18. But on top of that, Kyren Williams and Blake Corum, the yards per carry doesn't look pretty, but I think it was definitely a good functional part of this offense. Blake Corum shouldn't have been on the field on those last couple couple drives, he literally almost lost in the game with that drop pass. He's just not a very good receiving back or pass blocker. Kyron Williams, that's what makes him so much better, on top of the fact that he's already a better runner. I will say Blake Corum is definitely a guy that I would like to see him get outside a little bit more, but overall, this offensive line and the running game definitely wasn't, again, up to snuff. But at the same time, again, losing your starting right guard, your best run blocker, is definitely a big issue. Puka Nacua, everyone's talking about the Aiden Ross live stream and like the anti-Semitic celebration. I think that was something I hope he would have known before, but again, who really knows? That is definitely something that Aiden Ross would have somebody do. But obviously, that was not condoned in any sense, considering it is anti-Semitic. And also, yeah, I don't know what the hell he was doing with the Twitter thing. It sounds like he's on roids. But anyway, Puka, well, an absolute nuclear. He's the best receiver in football, guys. I don't really know what to tell you. He literally had 225 receiving yards. Like, what the hell? Xavier Smith had 48-yard catch. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, he had a decent game. Content Mumfield, again, everyone knew that, again, Devontae missing this game was a big issue. Again, Jordan Whittington, he's just not having a good season, to be honest with you guys. That's a guy you would think of to be their third receiver. It hasn't happened. I don't know where the hell Tutu Atwell is. I was expecting when they were on the, what was it, the 12-yard line there on that, the last drive they had in regulation, for him to catch an 80-yard bomb to walk this sucker off. But I don't know what Sean McVay was doing. Please get that guy involved before the playoffs. He's a guy that's going to be, again, I won't say key, but important for this team. Ferguson, Allen, and Parkinson all had their issues, but again, overall, I think they as a unit, they did a good job run blocking. Davis Allen definitely didn't have his best game, though. Terrence Ferguson should have had 2 touchdowns, but we're not going to get into that. The officiating was really bad in this game, but overall, I can't excuse you guys. Again, you blew a freaking 16-point lead. Defensively, this gave me shades of that Eagles game back in Week 3. The thing is, in that game, the Eagles offense is really just more talented than the Rams defense in a lot of ways, so I can't get too mad off of that. But this secondary overall, again, it was really bad in this game. I thought Emmanuel Forbes overall played well. Kobe Durant probably had his worst game of the year. It wasn't exactly that he wasn't getting like torched, but it was more the fact that he just wasn't always as aware as he needed to be. Nate Landman obviously had a pretty solid game, but guys, overall, when you look at this Rams defense in this one, again, it was just the fact that this pass rush wasn't timely all the time, and again, that's just got to be the case every week, and again, the fact it wasn't this week is the reason they lost. Kobe Turner with a hell of a game. He had like 12 pressures, something ridiculous like that. He had himself a game. You look at the stats, again, this is the biggest thing here. Rams had 581 yards of offense and somehow found a way to lose this game. They also had no turnovers. First time in NFL history that's happened, where a team has had over 500 yards of offense and also +3 in the turnover margin and still found a way to lose. They also dominated time possession. Biggest thing, though, was, again, you see the Seahawks still at 415 yards, but Rams 8 of 20 on third down. I'm not that big of a deal with it. They don't really get into third down situations, which is cool, freaking crazy to say. But I've kind of exhausted a lot of this game, guys. I don't want to keep you guys any longer, again, here with this recap, but it was just such a big game, and the fact the Rams went out and did what they did was really deflating, to be honest with you guys. It's probably the best way to put it. But anyways, yeah, Rams got some work to do. Seattle, please start losing games, and yeah, we'll see y'all for the, again, preview of the big-time Saturday games sometime soon.